Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Just Seen podcast. And today, as you've seen from the title, we're going to be talking about the law of attraction. I'm so glad that I'm finally able to get to this law because this law is the most overused, underutilized, and highly disrespected law of the universe. Everybody keeps talking about like the law of attraction and oh, I'm using the law of attraction to manifest and all this other shit. And they don't know. I ain't even gonna say they don't know. I personally just feel like they don't treat it right. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like because it's so like just like with most things in this world, people have a tendency to believe in it without understanding it. You feel me? That's why we talking about the four levels of the mind: belief, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. What happens is when it comes to the law of attraction, people think that, oh, I'm a magnet and I'm going to just get what I think I want. They think if I think about it enough and just like write it down on paper and do all of that shit. Mm-mm. The law of attraction sits between two laws specifically. It sits between the law of correspondence and the law of inspired action, right? And it sits there for a reason. But the law of attraction is dope because what I like about the law of attraction is from correspondence as above, so below, as within, so without. That means that you're going to attract what you are. And this attraction, how we're going to break it down today is what you hear from the cliche side of it, where people say shit like, you are what you attract and this, that, and the third. And some people be like, I'm not what I attract. And this one is really going to help with like knowing yourself when you start to see what you attract. You feel me? The law of attraction is not about, and that it's kind of like a paradox, but the law of attraction is not about the things that you can pull in. It's about being in observation to the things that you pull in. So people be looking at the law of attraction from the perspective of wants, desires, needs, and shit. And they be like, okay, I want to manifest, a good woman, or I want to manifest a good man, or I want to manifest wealth. I want to manifest these things. And it's like, you don't like the law of attraction shows you what vibration you're on and what's pulling you into your life. The law of vibration, I'm not the law of vibration, the law of attraction is basically from the correspondence. It's okay. I'm gonna say it like this: the law of vibration, a law of attraction, is the residuals or the reverberation from the law of correspondence. So you can want all day long to have whatever it is, but if you have not made the necessary changes within and without and above and below, you're not going to attract what you think you're attracting. But what you are attracting is always going to be in alignment with what you currently are. You feel what I'm saying? So in addition to that, so when we consider the law of attraction, we also have to consider the law of repulsion. A lot of people don't consider that dynamic to it. It's like if the way that you are living is designed to try to attract something, then by default, you're naturally going to repel the opposite. Here's the problem with that. When it comes to the law of attraction, a lot of people don't consider the law of repulsion. So they're never take into consideration the things that they must put down to pick up. They never take into consideration the things that they must release to gain. So this is why I say you first need to understand the law of correspondence: as above, so below, as within, so without. Because now with the law of attraction is I have to know what to put down in order to pick up. You feel what I'm saying? I have to know what to release in order to gain. You know what I'm saying? The law of attraction is mainly dependent upon the capacity to maintain the balance of what you having and having not. That's what in a way what the law of attraction is. And it's fitting because like when people be like, yo, these are the haves and the have-nots, and we look at it as people that just the people that are in abundance or people that are in lack, but it's like you're going to attract that because the law of attraction is going to see to it. So the things that you refuse to put down, those are the things that you're going to attract. The things that you refuse to pick up, those are the things that you are going to repel, even if you want them. Like a lot of times people get caught in a situation where they're saying shit like, okay, I will start doing this when this happens. That's not how that works. That's not how that works because the law of attraction now comes into play. You have to do the thing first and then get whatever comes next to it because that's what you're magnetized to. You're magnetized to the release and the gain. You feel me? And the law of attraction is largely where abundance and lack come in play. And that paradox is crazy because a lot of people be like, I'm trying to be in an abundant season, but they have a lack mentality, so they'll lack abundantly. It's crazy, but it's real, and I'm gonna tell you why it's real because the law of attraction is at play. Because, like I said, once you go from the law of correspondence, as above, as within, as above, so below, as within, so without. That's when you begin to attract. Because remember when I talked about how the cross comes together and where those 4 points converge, as above, so below, as within, so without. That's where manifesting happens. Manifestation the manifestation then is, I guess, in a way, subdivided into attraction and repulsion. So everything that you quote unquote manifest is either something you're attracting or something you're repelling based off what you're willing to receive and what you're willing to release. You feel what I'm saying? What you're willing to have and what you're willing to have not. You digs? But before we dive heavy into that, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Seen the Light. Be sure to check out my website at IamJustSeen.com to get all things that are just seen. To all those who tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you are greatly appreciated. To all those who would like to tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of the podcast. Not the episode, but the podcast itself. And as always, Cash App and PayPal are just fine. And you know the vibes. That's for this and that's this for that. So we're gonna take a quick break. And when we come back, we're gonna dive into the law of attraction. We're gonna dive into the law of attraction. Give and take. And don't forget to visit IamJustSeen.com. There, you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So For Real series to your library? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to learn how to master the markets for serious trading and investing? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You ever want to just chat with Seen about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at IamJustSeen.com. So take a quick peek into my world to see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it, and you will never see it unless you visit IamJustSeen.com. All right. Welcome back. Ow. And without further ado, we're gonna dive heavy into this motherfucker. So, yeah. Let's set the foundation. Do a quick recap of the previous laws, so it'll make sense why we're here in the law of attraction. So if you heard the first three, going into the law of attraction, we have the law of divine oneness, we have the law of vibration, we have the law of correspondence, and now we have the law of attraction. Right? The law of attraction is not some mystical shit. It's not just what you want, and these are the things that really fuck people up because a lot of people think, if I write it down, if I put it on paper, if I want this, like I'll manifest this, that, and the third, but they don't really realize what it is that they're manifesting. A manifestation is a manifestation is a means of both giving and getting, obtaining and releasing. A lot of people, their manifestations are kind of fucked up because they only want to get, they don't want to give. You know what I'm saying? And when you're not willing to give, you're limiting yourself on what you can receive. And I know a lot of people will look at the law of attraction and say, that's not how that works. And it's like, it's debatable. It's debatable. But what's not debatable is how it unfolds, because you got to think about everything. When it comes to the law of attraction, you now have to, like I said, consider the other three, the previous laws that go with it, in addition to the other 8 that go after it. But we haven't gotten to the other 8 yet, so I can only stick to the previous 3 to actually get what it is. But when it comes to the law of attraction being at play, or whatever the case may be, it's like you have to also You ever heard the phrase, you got to take the good with the bad? The law of attraction ties into that. But more than that, it's like the law of attraction says that whatever you are, you get. You feel what I'm saying? Whatever you are, you get. Because the reason why whatever you are, you get is because you get locked into a certain frequency, the law of vibration, that allows you to correspond with a certain reality. And when you correspond with that certain reality, you're going to attract and repel everything that is tied to that reality. You feel what I'm saying? So, for example, when we look at poverty, right? When you are in the vibrational space to be impoverished, you're going to attract everything that is associated with poverty. People think poverty is just a lack mentality. It's not. People think poverty is just, you're not having any money, you're not having any resources, you're not having it. It's not. Poverty produces some of the greatest creativity in the world. Poverty produces some of the greatest innovations in the world. Because the thing with the law of attraction is that you take everything that is associated with the thing that you're attracted to simultaneously becomes what you give and you receive. Now, it's in the law of attraction whether or not you determine what the value of something is, and how you determine the value of it sparks certain levels of creativity, right? Or sparks certain levels of attraction, let me say that. But it equally sparks level of repulsion. The reason why I use poverty is because when we look at poverty-stricken conditions in the Black community, that's where all of the innovation comes from, but they call it ghetto. You feel me? They simultaneously allowed us to operate under the law of under the law of attraction. But I like to use this example because it now shows the derivation between both attraction and repulsion. So poverty is the vibration and the correspondence. Now, the attraction of poverty, now you're getting into an entirely different creative space because the way the human mind works naturally, if it has nothing, it will produce something. This goes into the divine oneness. This goes into the I'm just gonna say the divine oneness. I'm not gonna use the vibration for this part, but this goes into the divine oneness. From the one come the all. Therefore, the all is the one. When I was talking about the binary codes with zeros and ones, literally the world, nature, everything is in essence divided into everything and nothing. It's either everything or nothing, and then there's something in between. Like what falls in between in context to being everything and nothing. So when we look at the law of attraction being at play, when you have nothing internally or you have nothing externally, you can create anything internally because you in a way have an abundance of things. So for example, when we look at poverty, these people have no resources. And when I say these people, I'm not speaking from a perspective of like I'm disconnected, I'm shoving. I used to live in poverty. I know these dynamics and shit, right? So in a poverty-stricken environment, I'll say it like that. Say it better. Put some respect on the shit. Like they're not just these people. You know what I'm saying? So in a poverty-stricken environment, there's no resources. It's wild how there's no resources. There's no opportunity. There's nothing. Yet so much gets pulled out of it. You feel me? When corporate designers and shit want to create a new fad or something like that, they go 10 years back from the hood. 5 to 10 years back from the hood, and they bring shit back that we had already made popping. Now, because of the poverty-stricken mindset, the vibration is that this is nothingness. So everything that is created has no value to it. Simultaneously, the law of attraction and repulsion. You feel what I'm saying? Because now it's invoking a level of creativity that is not wanted. You feel what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is that it's like when we consider a culture vulture, right? A lot of people say, oh, they culture vultures. They come in our vultures only eat dead shit. Vultures don't eat anything with life. Vultures do not consume anything that is alive. Vultures only consume what is already dead. So when we call them culture vultures, what are we acknowledging within ourselves? That the very culture they're vulturing is already dead. And it's dead because we didn't want it. Because of the mindset and the programming from the oneness, from the vibration and from the correspondence that we're on shows that we attract what we're supposed to repel. We're not supposed to like any of the shit that we create. We're not supposed to keep any of the shit that we create in our own communities, but we destroy it. You feel me? Now it's like, well, that I thought attraction. Yeah, see, attraction is deeper than just acquiring assets. No, it is a magnetism that you created. It's a magnetism that you I don't want to say attract because you don't want to use the definition. And it is the magnetism that you gravitate towards based off of your correspondence. You feel what I'm saying? So if I'm on a vibration to be a pimp, I'm going to attract hoes. When the law of attraction comes in, if I'm on the vibration of a pimp, the law of attraction comes in, I'm going to attract hoes. I'm also going to repel certain things as well too. Right? I'm going to attract hoes. I'm going to repel hoes. I'm going to repel people that are against pimps. I'm going to attract women who I can manipulate and finagle. You feel what I'm saying? And a lot of people be thinking like the law of attraction is like mystical, like this opportunity, these people cross paths. Nah, it comes to a point of calibration. It comes to a point of calibration. Now, here's where the law of attraction gets kind of dark at times, because it's like the moment you decide what vibration you're going to be on, you're literally going to start to attract those things and you're going to start to attract and repel at the same time. But in attracting and repelling at the same time, because a balance has to be maintained, things are going to start to fall out of your life and things are going to start to fall in place. When we talk about if you into it or whatever the case may be, but if you follow tarot readers or if you look at people who read tarot cards and shit like that, one of the cards, and this is in the Tree of Life too. It is the Tree of Life as well. This is the Tower moment. If you pay attention to what happens with the Tower moment, a lot of people don't tie. I don't even think they know to tie the Tower moment to the law of attraction. The moment you decide that you want to change your life, the moment that you decide you want to level up, you want to evolve, always consider the law of attraction. Because before you start this shit, to give yourself a heads up, now this is coming from personal motherfucking experience. To give yourself that heads up to know if you're prepared, simultaneously, the moment you have that, you start to vibrate on what it is that you want to move into, what it is you want to change into, before you start vibrating and honor and respect the law of correspondence, pay attention to what you're attracting and what you're repelling. In that moment, it doesn't start off big. The moment in the universe works so fast and so quick. Like a lot of people say, we'll say shit like, not on my time, but God's time. Not on my time, but Allah's time. Not on my time. No, those times work swift as fuck if you understand the law of attraction. But you have to understand all of the other laws as well to see the moment the law of attraction sets in motion. Because the moment you decide that I want to move at a certain frequency, I want to be at a certain vibration, I want my life to correspond in a certain way, the law of attraction kicks in instantly. But it does it subtly. So there's little things that you don't pay attention to, right? And the moment it happens, you literally have to start repelling and attracting at the same time. Which means that you have to start putting shit down and picking shit up as it's coming. But a lot of times we don't pay attention to that because our focus is never on releasing anything, but it's on gaining. You feel what I'm saying? So they don't show that side of the law of attraction. So this is when I was mentioning with the Tower moment. It's like, yo, how come when it falls, it all falls down? Because not only have you been attracting everything that you were supposed to attract, but you weren't releasing it. These things now conflict. What you're attracting and what you're repelling now conflicts with each other. Do you dig what I'm saying? What you were attracting and now what you're repelling is in conflict. But now you're storing what you're now supposed to be repelling. Why? Because it's a part of your past life, or it's a part of the previous vibration that you were just operating on. And a lot of people don't think that life changes that fast. They're like, nah, man, it was supposed to, I'll start putting that other shit down when I get more of the shit that I want. It don't work like that. You'll start getting more of the shit that you want when you put some of the old shit down, because you're now vibrating in a space in which the repulsion and the vibration are equal, but you have more of the repulsion on the backside of it than you do the attraction. For example, if all your life, oh, this is a perfect example. This is a perfect example. And this is going to seem like, wow, I didn't know you can use this as law of attraction. Yeah, the law of attraction is off of anything, right? But it has to honor and respect repulsion and attraction. So let's say you smoke, right? And I'm using this as an example because it's me. But let's say you smoke, right? And you now say, I want to vibrate, or I need to, quote unquote, quit smoking. You have to repackage that, because now it's not necessarily repackage it, but look at it from a broader perspective in relation to the 12 laws in order to make sure that it's going to happen, right? So you would do something like, damn, and this is going to seem crazy, like, and you still ain't smoking yet. You still ain't stopped yet because you can quit. Nigga, I'm telling you why. I'm also telling you why I didn't stop yet, because of this very same thing. So in addition to the attraction and the repulsion, it's like this. I now want to vibrate on the frequency of someone who doesn't smoke. Okay, so what does that look like vibrationally, right? And we paint the image in our head, but now we have to look at, in this reality, what do I have to repel? What am I going to naturally start repelling, and what am I going to start attracting? The attraction and the repulsion always conflicts each other. So we be looking at our lives as like, yo, this is friction. So let's say you decide that you want to quit smoking, right? And now instantly, I'm gonna use two things. I'm not gonna use I'm gonna continue with the smoking, but I want to broaden it out and say better health, right? In which the better health that you want is a function of, I want to quit smoking and I want to start working out. These two things are in direct conflict with each other. One, and you're trying to attract, right? You're trying to literally attract the better health from working out and stuff, but you're trying to repel the bad health from smoking. You dig what I'm saying? A lot of people say, "Oh, you gotta wean off of it. You gotta do." No. The universe don't work like that. Universe doesn't work like that. It works in a one-to-one balance with attraction and repulsion. So when you try to put these two things together, eventually it clashes. You feel me? Because if you're attracting what you're repelling, and you're repelling what you're attracting at the same time, which ultimately leads to a tower moment. Because a tower moment is developed on what you decide to pick based off of the law of attraction being at play. Because subtly, the law of repulsion is also at play as well. So tying it back into the smoker side. So you want to stop smoking and you want to have better health. Instantly, in order to do that, let's say the first day is like, okay, I want to run, I want to go walk today. But when I finish walking, I want to go smoke. You can't do both. Ideally, you have the capacity and the ability to do both, but you're going to be in conflict with the law of attraction and repulsion. And you're going to stay in a state of low key. You're going to stay in a state in which the manifestations that come outside of those two reverberations will never happen. So it'll always be a one-on-one thing, because let's say, so now we're going to tie the law of attraction into, quote unquote, the good health based off of, I want to quit smoking and I want to start working out, right? Everything that is associated with working out that is good now starts to attract to you. You start to see it. You start to attract it. This is where as above, so below, as within, so without is now prevalent and tied into the law of attraction. Because now you have a better vision to see what is in alignment with now what you're attracting to. You're already beyond the manifestation part, because that's when all four of those components come together. But now you're able to attract it, and now you're able to attract it and you're repelling it. You're able to see, I like this, and this. You know what I'm saying? It's not even about just liking it. It's like, with this lifestyle, this naturally comes to me. Equally, what I've been doing now naturally runs from me, because it's repulsion. You feel me? So let's say in this change and in this transition, or whatever the case may be, between what you're attracting and what you're repelling, it is now moving at a broader scale. So when you're looking at it from, I now want to quit smoking to now get, better health, or whatever the case may be. Now then, let's say I'm jumping rope. Now, the tar, the toxins and all of the shit, as I jump rope, is now leaving out of my body, out of my lungs. So now I'm attracting that better health, but I'm also repelling that worse health. So every time I try to go back and smoke, I can't do it. You feel what I'm saying? It's not feasible, because now it's like it becomes counterintuitive and counterproductive. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people's manifestations fuck up. You feel me? And I use that extreme not because that's necessarily the boat that I'm in. Because I understand this law a little bit. I'm picking a side. I'm like, yo, I know I can't. This is one of the reasons why you ever hear people say like that person's an all or nothing type person. What you don't know about all or nothing type people, they're very attuned and very aligned with the law of attraction for real, for real. And it's one of those things where it's just like, damn, when you say you done, you done, because they don't realize how attuned they are with that law of attraction. Because you know that I can't go forward doing what I don't want to do, and I'm gonna keep staying back if I'll squander what I need if I don't do what I'm supposed to do. If that makes sense. I thought it came out good, but I don't know. But because those two things are codifying the law of attraction and repulsion at the same time. And the reason why I keep saying and repulsion, because I need people to understand that the law of attraction isn't just what you bring in and magnetize. It's what has to leave too. You feel me? Which is why I talked about the tower moment. You see what I'm saying? Every time you decide and you actually focus on a vibration to say, I'm going to get into this space, and now you start putting yourself in a vibrational reality for it, you're going to attract and repel. It's almost like I ain't gonna say it's like a freeway or a highway, but it's almost like it's just a fluid flow. For everything that you start to attract, you have to start repelling things. And then for everything that you start to repel, you're going to attract things to fill the void. You know, when we look at from the religious perspective, right? We can look, and I say the religious perspective because they say things like, I had seen this meme and shit of this little girl holding a teddy bear and shit, and it was like in the teddy bear she was holding, it was like she was allegedly talking to Jesus and shit. And as she was talking to Jesus, she was like, he had the teddy bear behind his back. I'm laughing because it was the white Jesus and shit too. And it's like, but you know, it's like, oh, I got something better for you or whatever. And there was a small teddy bear in her hand, but she didn't want to let the teddy bear go, right? This is what they say happens when they're like, you, when a deity and a divine source steps in or whatever the case may be, they're not realizing that what that divine source is just the law of the universe being at play for you getting what you're supposed to get. But you have to give up what you're supposed to give up to. And this is where this I feel like personally this law is one of the laws that kind of blocks the crown chakra, because the crown chakra is blocked by earthly attachment. And when I tell people about earthly attachment, they're like, what you think, I'm not supposed to just like care or be empathetic or just be, no, that's not what it is. These new age mysticism motherfuckers that y'all keep letting gentrify fucking the spiritual context of the ancestors that keep trying to understand spirituality. They're trying to decode spirituality from a religious perspective, and it cannot be done. It just cannot be done. So when they come into these spaces, and like when I hear people say shit like, you know, uh, it's a red flag when somebody says they're religious and not spiritual. No, 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 no. You're looking at it wrong. It should be a red flag if somebody says they're religious and not spiritual, but they have not made a distinguishing factor between the two, because they're bringing the religious mentality into a spiritual practice, and it's not the same thing. Spirituality is not a practice. And I know I said it's a spiritual practice, but it's like, it's not it is a spiritual practice. But let me say it like this. Spirituality is not practiced the same way that religion is. Just like you're not going to practice basketball and then go play baseball all day long. It ain't going to work because they're two different systems. It's two totally different components. So, like I said, with the new age people coming in, it's like, you know, they're taking the spiritual side the wrong way. And they're trying to mystify what it is. Everything has to be good or evil. That's why I tell y'all, at this level, there is no good or evil. There's just detriment and benefit. So religion will teach you that there's good and evil. Everything is based off good and evil. That's foul. That's not right. That's at a childish mentality of the spirit. That is a child level of the spirit. When you get to more of the adult and mature level of the spirit, you realize that it's detriment and benefit. And that good and evil shit is out of the window now. So much so that you now start to see how the law of attraction ties into the spiritual component. You feel what I'm saying? And I kind of got off and I kind of lost my thought on that, but I'm just going to flow. It'll come back. It'll come back to me if it got to come back. So when we're looking at how the law of attraction ties into our spiritual component and shit, and we look at how, well, the deity is going to give you an abundance or whatever, bless you, however you're gonna do, people be thinking it's not. It's going to You're going to be calibrated into the alignment of what you're attracted with. That's one of the things about it. If you're not ready to have it, you won't get it. I don't give a fuck what they're trying to tell you. Like, and I've seen this in both the spiritual infiltrations and I've seen it in religious reality. They'll say things like, he will put you in positions that you're not even qualified for. No, the fuck he won't. I don't like y'all niggas. Hear me. Hear me. This is talking about law of attraction and repulsion. Hear me well. You will not. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck how much faith you have. I don't give a fuck how much devotion you think you have. You will never be put in a position that you are not prepared to be in. Ever. Ever. I don't like anybody that. Now, you may feel that you're not worthy of that position. Now, that's a whole different conversation. Your self-esteem, your self reflection, your self-worth, your value that you feel of yourself may feel like you don't deserve that position, but you will never be in a position that you are not supposed to be in. That is some sick shit. That is some sick shit to convince a motherfucker, try to make a motherfucker believe. But motherfuckers believe that shit. They really believe that I will be placed in positions that I'm not supposed to be in. Really? No. Who the fuck told you that? I will be placed in positions that I like. You will be placed at the head of the tables and whatever the case may be. You will be in places that you're not even qualified for. No, the fuck you won't, because that is in direct violation of the law of attraction. It's in direct violation of the law of attraction, correspondence, and vibration, and oneness, and the other 8 too. But we only gotten to these 4 so far. When motherfuckers will tell you like this is the thing that I don't like. I don't have to. No, no, nigga. No. You will only be placed in places that you are supposed to be in. And you're only going to know that you're supposed to be in when you are now attracting that reality based off of the correspondence that you have. You feel what I'm saying? And like I said, they brought that mentality into the spiritual component. And that's what keeps people away from the actual connection. That's what it was I was talking about with the chakras and the earthly attachment. A lot of people think the earthly attachment is my connection to it. No, it's the correspondence. It's how you're wired to your own correspondence. And this is why a lot of people don't attract and repel correctly, because they want everything and they want everything their way. Hear me well. There is no my way or the highway type shit when it comes to this shit. Like, no, if you want something, as Bone Thugs, they got a song that said there's always something you got to give up to get everything you want. And people will look at that song and say, I ain't giving up shit for this, that, and the third. No, you're going to give up something. You're going to give up something if you're going to get something. You're going to have to repel something in order to attract something. It's a one-to-one thing. You feel me? It's a one-to-one thing. And we get so fucked up because this is when it comes into extreme shit, because we attach certain good and bad things to certain shit, and we don't see the full detriment and benefit of the shit, right? So when something is good or bad, and we stay in it from the religious perspective, that law of attraction is always going to keep us in a limited space, because we'll never attract. We'll always retract. We'll always attract, and then we'll also repel at the same time. And we don't know why we stay in this insanity loop. For example, I'm going to use good and evil, then I'm going to use benefit and detriment to show you how much higher it has to be. When women, and I love y'all to life, but I got to use that as this example because it's like, y'all be wanting niggas with toxic dick without the toxicity. And I know I said it in the jam session, but it was a joke. I was just like, I was like, you can get some toxic dick without the toxic shit. No, it's not going to work like that. Like, the toxic is the toxic. You will get some healthy dick with the healthy shit, like without the toxic shit. That's a different conversation, ladies. But the point that I was making with that is that I hear women say, like, they want this type of sex, right? But they don't want the man that brings this type of sex. But only this type of man brings this type of sex. You feel what I'm saying? And vice versa. You know what I'm saying? If we look at it from a man's perspective, niggas want, like, body count shit. Niggas want a woman who's phenomenal at sex, but she can't have bodies. But only women with bodies are phenomenal at sex. You see what I'm saying? So when we look at the good and evil, we don't look at the benefit and the detriment. By looking at the good and evil, the law of attraction is then tainted so somewhat, because you're gonna repel what you attract, and you're gonna attract what you repel, and you're not gonna know which way to go. You feel what I'm saying? I like to use that example because, especially from the men's perspective, I use the women just to catalyze and bring us in. But from the men's perspective, it's like, I want a freak. I want a woman that can do like all of the shit that porn stars do, but I don't want her to have any bodies. What? How the fuck you think she's gonna learn? You gonna teach her? No, you're not gonna teach her. You know why? Because you haven't been in the game. That's why you need a woman that has no bodies. See, I'm watch how this law of attraction and repulsion plays out. You haven't even been in the game. That's why you're criticizing, critiquing women that have been in the game, and you get angry at the guys who have been in the game who smutted the chicks out that you wanted, that you want to have low body counts. You feel me? What's the niggas on the goofy niggas on the podcast that said we went from simps to pimps, and they still corny, still corny niggas. That shit is weird because it's like that is a part of the law of attraction. You feel me? Don't shit change. If you corny, you still gonna attract corny shit. You feel me? You're still gonna be corny shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's gonna translate in that world. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, tying it back to the men, the good and evil, like I want a freak. I want a woman who's gonna be a freak, but I don't want, like, I use it just for even more, I simplify it even more. I want a freaky virgin. Nigga, what? Nigga, how? I think there's some kind of mental disconnect when we think, oh, women just naturally know how to take dick and fuck good. Like, no, it comes with experience. Same with us. Your first couple, like, you have to get your stroke right as a man. Like, real shit. You got to get your stroke right. Now, the more you get your stroke right, the more you get your stroke right. This is tying into law of attraction again. The more you get your stroke right, the more quality the vagina comes that you open yourself up to. Don't even know that this is what you're doing, because now you're moving at a certain vibration, right? But the more you repel anything that's not experienced, and you don't really realize it. Because now it's like, if I want some, like, niggas don't get it. And I'm not saying all hoes got good pussy, but most good pussy comes with experience. So if you now gonna vibrate on a frequency where you're saying, I want some good pussy, or I need a chick with some good pussy, you ever wonder why you keep running into women that are promiscuous? You ever wonder why you keep running into, like, no, if you want a woman who's a homebody, who has, who doesn't have any bodies, and she's all, like, said, just start telling the universe, I want some bad pussy, and I guarantee you get you one. But niggas ain't gonna say they want some bad pussy. Women. Women. I want this loyal man who's consistent, who's this, who won't even look at other women, who's all about me. Just utter to the universe, I want some bad dick. You're not gonna do that shit, are you? No. You know why you're not gonna do that shit? Because you don't know, because you know low key what comes with it. But you don't know that that's why it comes with it. Now, I'm not saying you're not gonna get a loyal, consistent, faithful, dedicated man and some good dick. Like, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say you're gonna get a homebody who ain't all in these streets and everything with, some bad pussy. I'm not saying that's what you're saying. But I'm saying, when you understand the law of attraction and context of what it is that you want and everything that you want to repel, that's what you have to attract. Because you have to let go of one thing to get the other thing. So and the reason why I'm saying it like that, because if in your mind you associate good dick with toxicity, or you associate good pussy with toxicity, the universe is going to give you the bad side. That what you're going to start attracting, I'm not even going to say the universe is going to give it to you. What you're going to attract is the opposite of that. And you're going to repel the very thing that you're against. So if you want the good dick without the toxicity, you're going to repel the toxicity and the good dick to attract the bad dick without the toxicity. Because this is when it goes into what I was talking about in the law of vibration and correspondence, specificity. This is why you got to be specific with the shit that you want to attract. And you have to make sure you're not too emotionally wired to one or two things, because everything that you now associate with what you want to pull into and release out of your life, there's going to be an emotional charge to it. That emotional charge is what catalyzes both the attraction and the repulsion. Once you have been emotionally charged to it, that's what happens. So again, like with the guys, it's like I want a wholesome, modest girl or whatever the case may be, but I need somebody who's a bad bitch. You'll never get that. Those two things do not exist. They are counter opposites to each other. Not even counter, they're polar opposites to each other. They will never merge. They will never be one. Never, ever. And it's like I want the wholesome bad bitch. It don't matter. And you want to know how the conflict really fucks with you on some other shit, because it's like now you have to get into chakra systems of, of course, the earthly attachment, but guilt and shame. Those are the guilt and shame are some of the things that really tie into our attractions and what we're attracted to. I know a lot of women who would say shit like, and this is one of the ways in which the law of attraction gets manipulated too. And this goes into how I always talk about words and semantics and shit like that. When we look at attraction, we look at somebody's physical appearance. Oh, I'm attracted to this person. Why? It's just something about them. If you don't know why you're attracted to somebody, you're not attracted to them. Because attraction is a law. Therefore, repulsion is a law too. You're lusting. Just say that. Just say that. What, I'm not lusting from the perspective of sex. Nah, it's lust. Lust is an extreme desire. Lust is an I don't want to say unidentifiable, but I'm using that for lack of a better term. It is an unidentifiable. No, lust is an unjustifiable. I don't want to say attraction. What word was I just about to use? Fuck. But it ain't an attraction. But because of the words, how they played out, they used the word attraction on it. You're not going to get to the law of attraction. So when you say, I'm attracted to this person, and y'all ain't got shit in common, y'all don't relate, you feel me? Y'all don't do the same shit. What makes you attracted to this person? Now that's when I was talking about the personal identity, when I was talking about the chakras of shame and guilt, because now when your personality is built, right? Because now we're just going to use the sacral and the solar plexus chakra. Your sacral chakra is about your feelings, what you feel, which determines, do you feel guilty for the shit that you do over yourself, or do you feel, do you give yourself credit? Do you place blame on yourself for the shit that you do? Because that's going to determine whether you are shameful or proud of yourself. Now, your personal identity is built off of shame or pride. It's wild because they say pride comes before destruction. Wow. But anyway, you're going to attract according to those 2 points. You feel me? So now when people say, I'm attracted to this person, I have to ask, like, why? Fuck what they have on. Fuck how they look. Fuck how they smell. Fuck the way they're built. Why are you really attracted to that person? Because the law of attraction is now based off of, and it's now an extension of the law of correspondence. As above, so below, as within, so without. What about them is what's attracting you? You feel me? Because you would be attracted to them if attraction is real, whether or not the physical is in play. But if the physical has to be in play, or if there's somehow some kind of piece that has to be in play for you to be attracted to them, like a beauty look or something like that, you're not really attracted. But in addition to that, your manipulation of the law of attraction is there. This is where standards of beauty come in. This is where standards of beauty come in. And it comes with attraction and repulsion. So much so that when we look at the standard of beauty, like we be thinking, like, this is funny as fuck to me, because it's funny as fuck. Women swear that they're not getting BBLs and they're not doing shit for men. Oh, we doing it for ourselves, or we're doing it? No, you're doing it because of the law of attraction. You don't even realize that the law of attraction has been manipulated so well that it puts you in a space where you're now going to vibrate and correspond with the standard of beauty that does not apply to you. If you got a little butt, so what? It don't matter. But now we're forcing ourselves to be in a correspondence, as above, so within, as above, so below, as within, so without, to where she gotta be thick, she gotta be fat, she gotta, not fat, well, sometimes they are, but she gotta be thick. She gotta be thick as fuck. And now our women have now looked at that perspective, and the law of attraction is on that point. The law of repulsion is on that point because the law of correspondence is there too. So now the manifestation is, now when I go into this law of attraction, I'm only going to be attractive and I'm going to attract if I look like what's attractive. The law of attraction is heavily, heavily, heavily prevalent in beauty standards. Sad part about the beauty standards is that we have tied somehow beauty standards to recessive genetics. That's crazy. That's crazy. And that's crazy to me. Like, wow. Recessive genetics really have become the standard of beauty and the standard of power, whatever, but specifically the standard of beauty for the context of this. So now when we look at the law of attraction and repulsion at play, it's, what am I going to have? So now I'm vibrating on a space as a man where I want a chick that has a fat ass, right? So I'm going to, I want a fat ass. And it's like, I'm aligned to a fat ass so much that it doesn't have to be real. It doesn't have to be, like, it can be real. It can be fake. It can be made in the gym. It can be whatever it is. Sometimes it doesn't even have to be on a woman. The law of attraction is at play, though, because now you're at a correspondence to where you're now vibrating at a certain frequency. People don't realize, and, if you're one of those who are in, the community, this is just what it is. But that whole era under the Biden administration, where they were saying, y'all try to like trans women are real women. Why do you think they did that? The laws of the universe were at play at that point, and they're going to work 100% of the time. Because now if I manipulate your vibration and I manipulate your correspondence, now what do you think you're going to attract? And what do you think is going to be comfortable to attract? So as a man, you will see another man dressed as a woman and still see that this is a woman still. It's not. That's a man. It's okay. That's what you chose to do. You're a man. But at the same time, you have to now look at yourself and say, what are you attracting? You no longer attract women. I'm not saying you attract men either, but you no longer attract women. You attract an image of titties and ass. They programmed us for this shit because now they know how to manipulate the law of attraction. They know how to manipulate the law of attraction because they know what the law is and they know when it's at play. You feel me? Simultaneously, when we look at all of the things that are now being put into our world, we're now seeing the law of attraction operate itself, with the law of repulsion operating itself as well. So now when women say shit like, men don't like natural women. Yes, we do. We love natural women. Love them. And I'm going to tell you what the true attraction to the natural woman is. The natural women give off pheromones. All women and all men give off pheromones to one another. And contrary to what the fuck we want to believe and shit, you're going to naturally attract to the opposite pheromones. Biologically. It's just what it is. So what do they do instead? They clip our pheromones. They make sure our pheromones aren't there. And then they manipulate the pheromones that we have. Case in point, you don't believe me? When you wear deodorant, now this is by no means am I saying go around being musty, my nigga. Like, no, I'm not saying no shit like that. But because there's ways to deodorize your body from the inside with chlorophyll and shit like that. So I'm not saying be musty. However, when they create antiperspirants, like they'll do a whole commercial. And this is why I hate the fucking medical system. Because they say words and they use words that people think is a good word and they don't break it down to see what it is. Most deodorants are antiperspirants. Antiperspirants. That means against sweat. That means you're not supposed to sweat, but you're supposed to sweat. So now when you look at where you mainly sweat from, armpits and shit, when you put the deodorant on, it blocks the pheromones in a way. You feel me? But now they give you artificial pheromones in cologne. So now you can, when yours are not up to par because your biology is good and all of this other shit, when you start to spray other people's pheromones on you, now you attract a certain, how I don't want to use attract because it's fuck it, just for lack of a better term, because it does go against the law of attraction. But now you start to violate that, right? So naturally, men and women, we all have pheromones that the opposite sex naturally vibrates to. But now when they've already given us antiperspirants, they give us shampoos, they give us all of these things that dilute and kill the natural pheromones that will come off of a body. It fucks with everything. You feel what I'm saying? So you have an antiperspirant that blocks your sweat. You're supposed to sweat because your pheromones secrete through your sweat when your pores open. You feel me? This is one of the reasons why naturally we love athletic people. I don't think we realize that. Like, we love people that are in shape. We love people that are athletic. We love people like that. And we be thinking it's because they got a sexy body. No, we're going to give you the illusion. We're going to sell you the illusion of sex as opposed to teaching you about the pheromones that come off. Because when a person is sweating, their pheromones are released. But in addition to that, we're going to manipulate the pheromones with the way that you eat, the way that you drink, and all this other bullshit to make sure your pheromones aren't at their peak, to fuck with the dilution. And the reason why I'm saying that is because of how the wiring is set. When you smell a certain scent, you can tell if it's perfume or cologne. You feel what I'm saying? And this goes into the correspondence and shit like that, as above, so below, as within, so without. So the illusion can be played on you as you're smelling it. Oh, that woman smell good as fuck. Is that a woman? Yeah, it's a woman, because the ass and the titties are built like... we're in a space now where it used to be, trans women look like women. Now women look like trans men. We're trans women. Like, it's like... it's you don't know what... If you don't know, then you got other issues. But it's almost hard to tell off face value. That was a nigga, bro. Like, that's a nigga, bro. They know how to contour their noses. They know how to do everything. But you can't fake certain shit. But now I'll teach you to overlook the certain shit and attract to certain things based off of how you're going to correspond or you're going to vibrate. Now, objectively, it's not what you say, it's how you say. It's like, no, you got to objectively look at what I'm saying, because now you're seeing how the law of attraction is playing out. Because now it's like when people say what they're attracted to, they're not telling you, they're not taking the step to acknowledge that, yo, what vibration have I been placed on? In addition to what vibration I've been placed on, what correspondence comes within me? Now we go to Behold a Pale Horse, where they said sit little Johnny in front of the music videos all day, and then you can calibrate the type of woman he wants. Now we're going to also vilify this woman. We're going to have the video hoes in the background, right, dancing and shaking ass and doing all of this other shit. But then when we start to put the spokeswomen up for the video hoes, which is the singers and the rappers dressed like the video hoes, they're going to paint a certain picture that when we see this image, we're going to make this correspondence with a vibration. And if we say, I'm going to attract to that, you're going to bring in everything like that. You're going to repel everything else. So now when you have women complaining on social media, where are the men at who just want the good women and all of this shit? Y'all don't exist. Y'all don't even want to exist. And y'all don't realize that y'all want to exist. Y'all want motherfuckers to understand what you've been calibrated into and not what you really are. Same with the men. You want to attract what you've been calibrated to and not what you really are. Because you don't know what you really are because of the laws of vibration, the laws of oneness, the vibration, all of the shit. From the religion that you follow, from the education system that you're put into, from the media that you consume, the vibration that you're going to sit on, and the correspondence of what you was going to relate is going to show everything that you're going to attract. Real shit. Niggas don't like bad bitches. Real shit. Women don't like fuck boys. But you're attracted to that shit. And you be thinking, I don't know why. I just got to have it. This is the type of like, when women be like, yo, I got to have me a dreadhead. Why? What association do you have with a dreadhead to make the correspondence kick in for you to be attracted to it? Equally, what do you have to repel outside of the other situations that you're dealing with? But now it's fucked up because now you're basing everything off of good and evil and not benefit and detriment. So you don't give a fuck how bad this thing is. You feel me? Or you don't give a fuck how detrimental it is if it's good for you. And I wanted to use relationships like this with in situations that we're diving into, because it's easier to understand the law of attraction that way. Because attraction is a misnomer these days, where motherfuckers are saying, "Oh, I'm attracted to this." No, you're not. You in lust, nigga. And they teach you, they programmed you for lust since you was a kid. All that matters is sex. Sex sells, and that's all that fucking matters is sex. Look at Like one thing that I've heard so much is that, and this right here is going to tie into the law of attraction and shit too. Women be like, is married women and shit. They be like, they don't get orgasms, right? Or some shit like that. Or just, oh, it's been a long time since I had anything, blah blah. Because you ain't attracted to the motherfucker that you married. They've convinced women that marriage. They've convinced women to be married and not to be wives. And women can't figure out why the relationships ain't working. We as men can't figure out why most relationships, most divorces end because the woman wanted to, and it's always some bullshit. It's always irreconcilable differences. No, I wanted the marriage. I wanted the wedding. I didn't want the marriage, nigga. The fuck. I wanted to be married. I didn't want to be a wife, and vice versa. And vice versa. Don't think I'm just trying to put it on the motherfucking sisters, nigga. A lot of y'all niggas too. Y'all wanted the marriage but didn't want to be husbands. That's why y'all cheat. That's why y'all still got to go out and see you got it. That's why you got illegitimate kids. You are calibrated for this shit. You are calibrated to want the moment, the ceremony. You're calibrated to want the moment. You're calibrated to want the entire process and the gimmicks and shit, but not the aftermath. All you keep hearing is get into the markets, but do you trade or do you invest? Should you do stocks, forex, crypto, or NFTs? My personal answer is not a single one if you don't know how to read a chart. Without knowing how to read a chart, you end up giving all your money to those who do. Do you know what a candle is? Do you know the pocket of activity? Do you know the difference between market direction and market control? If you answer no at least once, you might want to learn how to read a chart first. Learning how to read a chart will let you know if you should trade or invest and if you should do stocks, forex, crypto, and or NFTs. It will also let you know if this is even for you or not. So visit IamJustSeen.com to learn how to read charts with my Mastering the Market course, ebooks, and webinars today. The world is changing. The question is, will you adapt with it? There's literally no attraction to who you're marrying, other than the idea that you have been wired to be married to a certain image. And that's why over time, once they get fat, once they lose weight, they start getting their sciatica nerve pinched, the disease, like, I can leave now. That's not who I married. That's not who I married. That's not who I decided to be a husband for, or that's who I decided to be a wife for. That's not who I married. Because that's not who I was attracted to. Why? Because I wasn't put on a frequency to be attracted to anything other than what the fuck I got married to. Yes, call me a husband. Yes, call me a wife. But understand, I got married, nigga. I wasn't trying to be like, and we're programmed for this, and we wonder, it's big business, nigga. I don't think people understand how much money is being made and moved because motherfuckers don't know the laws of the universe. We're only 4 laws in, and I've already broken down several systems that money has now been tied to. Just look at how money is tied to these things and how people don't really understand it. And now we're at the law of attraction. We wonder why. Yo, I don't know why I did this. Oh, this shit in your unconscious mind, nigga. You programmed for this shit. This is why it's like everybody wants to be in a space of comparison. Everybody wants to be in a space where I look like this or I feel like this, so therefore I am this. And they think that this is what my attraction is. It's your attraction, but it ain't your attraction. You have to know who you are first to know what you're attracted to. As a motherfucker, like, and I'm fortunate enough, and I think, bro, I think Source did this for a reason, because it knew, like, when I aligned this motherfucker, it's like, yo, we got to make this nigga a host so he can, because he gonna have some stories to tell. Because he gonna have some stories to tell that'll be relevant to what, you know what I'm saying, he's supposed to be teaching the people. Right? So, truth be told, like, I never liked bad bitches. I hated them. But I was attracted to them. I don't know what episode I got on it where I was talking about types versus attractions. We be thinking we're attracted to what's been made a type for us, and we're not. But the law of attraction is at play. So the law of attraction is what gives us a type. But they tell us that we're attracted to a type, but we're not. We are not attracted to it, but the law of attraction being at play and us being put on a certain frequency to move within a certain correspondence makes this attraction real. You feel what I'm saying? So much so that it's like, I never really liked bad bitches because bad bitches annoy me. Bad bitches annoy me. And it's like, and I would tolerate it because it's like, she a bad bitch. Like most niggas don't like bad bitches. This is how I be knowing who has been with bad bitches and who hasn't. Because you can only tolerate a bad bitch for so long. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, she's cute. Yeah, she got a body. Yeah, she did. But when you sit on a one-on-one, it's like, shut the fuck up. Bad bitches get annoying as fuck. Easily, my nigga. Fucking easily. Bad bitches get annoying easily. And that's a part of what women don't understand about bad bitches. Women want to be the baddies. Oh, we baddies. My team baddies. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not a bad bitch. You a beautiful woman. You ain't no bad bitch. I'm telling you, I can sit and have a healthy conversation with you. I can sit without you trying to manipulate everything that I'm saying. I can sit and have these moments. You a beautiful woman. You're not a bad bitch. But you think a bad bitch is what you supposed to be. Now, when you get with a man who's only been with bad bitches, and you think, oh, he get with me because I'm a bad... No, because you peaceful. Bad bitches ain't peaceful. Y'all don't be listening when niggas be saying, yo, be my peace. We tired of bad bitches. Bad bitches ain't peaceful, my nigga. And now people don't understand what calibration is and the correspondence is, because now if women think men are attracted to bad bitches, what are they going to do? They're going to become bad bitches. Then they're going to start surrounding themselves with bad bitches, and they don't realize that bad bitches ain't friendly. These are the mean girls. They just look good. They hate other women too. They're misogynistic too. Bad bitches are evil, my nigga. But they're beneficial. This is why you got to get to a point of the reality of it's no longer about good or evil. It's about benefit or detriment. Bad bitches are good as fuck, but they're detrimental as fuck. It's double negative. Say she's a bad bitch. That's what makes it positive, I guess. Negative times a negative is a positive. She's a bad bitch. Bitch is never good. Bad is never good, but a bad bitch is phenomenal. Somehow, I don't get it, but we're attracted to that. We're attracted to that double negative. And it in turn makes women think they have to become that to be attractive. Not realizing that, yo, nigga, this is a universal law that is at play. And we wonder how bad bitches keep multiplying because the universal law stays at play. And when the universal law stays at play, now the correspondence and the vibration has to be there. How is your vibration easily manipulated other than illusion and other than sound and light? The very videos and the music that you listen to, every so often they're going to give you between the ages of 18 and 25 another woman who's going to come and represent a bad bitch. You're just going to keep doing it because bad bitches got to stay alive. Because as long as bad bitches stay alive, we can destroy black men. It's like, yo, Scene, where the fuck did you get that from? The point that black boys are not respected. Because black boys are not respected, black women are not protected. If the black boy was respected, there would be no bad bitches. Because he wouldn't grow up to see his woman as a bad bitch. He wouldn't grow up looking for a bad bitch. I would not grow if I'm not respected. A black boy who's not respected grows up to be a disrespectful man. And a disrespectful man can only involve himself with a bad bitch. And y'all bitches want to be bad. Respectfully. But that's the significance and the power of the law of attraction. It's like, damn, it's really at play like that? It's really at play like that. And I don't think people really understand that shit. Flip it to the other side. Now the black boys that are upset because they're not respected for being the nerd and the anime guy, whatever the case may be. Who did the girl want? She wanted the real nigga. She wanted the street nigga. She wanted the gangster. You know how many motherfuckers is in boxes right now? Young niggas. And I'm not saying YNs in a sense to try to stick with the trend, but how many young boys, how many black boys didn't make it to 21? How many black boys didn't make it at 18, didn't make it at 16? Because the image and the vibration of being a real nigga and a gangster. Because the bitches love it. I'm 16, I'm 15 years old, and the bad bitch, she 22, 25, and that's the bitch that I want. I don't know bad bitches is crazy. I don't know bad bitches ain't got no motherfucking sense. Just like I don't know real niggas is got PTSD. Just like I don't know real niggas is out here trying to survive. Just like I don't know real niggas have dark secrets within that they're really scared little boys, but they have to prove a motherfucking point to stop being certain things so they can do what? Get the bitches. I want to be attractive too. I want to be attractive too, and I want to be respected. Women, I want to be attractive. I want to be loved, and this is what you're showing me gets it. This is what you're showing me gets it since I was a little kid. I don't give a fuck what you say when I go to church about love yourself and all of that shit because y'all keep us away from the boys and the girls. Y'all motherfucking tell us, oh, don't lust, don't do this. Y'all make us feel ashamed for being fucking human. So fuck what you're talking about. But what the imagery and the media is saying with their vibration is, this is what I have to do to be loved. This is what I have to do to be respected. What you're telling me is I have to join the cult and I have to follow a certain system just to even get acknowledged by the very deity that created me in its image and likeness. That's some wild shit. But if I put you on that, what are you going to attract? What are you going to attract? And I told you, I talk shit. I'm talking shit about everything. Like, the mask is off, bro. We all are fucking adults. We ain't fucking children no more, bro. We ain't children no more. If y'all can't take this shit, then get the fuck on. But we're not children anymore. And they're using these laws to manipulate us as a people. So what we're attracted to is completely off. And that's what's setting the tone for it. Like, these are universal laws at play. So now we like, why black men and black women can't coexist? Where's the black love at? Why is this is why they destroyed the image of black love and why they continue to do it. Remember in 2016 when we was like 2016, 17-ish, we like the black woman is God, the black man is God, peace king. We was doing all that shit. Then they deaded it. Hoteps. Y'all are hoteps. Like, they put the frequency on it. Now, granted, some of these niggas didn't know what the fuck they was talking about. But because of the attraction, but because of the correspondence and because of the vibration that was on, now you know what to be attracted to and what to be repelled against. Look at today. A red flag is if a motherfucker say, like, think about this shit, bro. I get it. Some of the niggas use the shit for manipulation or whatever the case may be. But how is it a red flag for a man to say, peace, queen? Like, sit with that. I've even done my share of shit talking about it. Like, yeah, they peace king me because I know they want some dick or whatever the case may be. Because I know deeper roots of the shit. But just from the words perspective, how is it a red flag to acknowledge someone as a queen? How is it a red flag to acknowledge somebody as a king and to greet them with peace? I get it. It's been manipulated because, again, this goes back into the fact of attraction and repulsion. You got to put some shit down to get some new shit. We was doing all of the... This is why you always hear me say you got to detox from religion before you walk into the spiritual side. Niggas wasn't doing that shit. So they was coming in, using their religious practices and their religious tactics, not realizing what religion really is. And they were just decorating shit. So what they were supposed to be repelling while they were attracting, they weren't. That's why they had so many tower moments. This is why there was so much confusion and manipulation. Because the law of the universe has to work at play. In order for you to attract something new, you have to repel something old. So niggas was still pimping. Niggas was still trying to get hoes. Niggas still had it rooted within them that I have to be a nice guy to get hoes. I have to do this to get women. I'm still seeing these women and hoes no matter how I decorate them. So now when I change my lingo, that's what fucks it up. Because my correspondence is still fucked up. My vibration is still fucked up. So the semantics aside is this is what changes it. But think about how fucked up that really is. To where when I acknowledge you and I greet you with peace and I call you a queen or I call you a king, it is a red flag. The vibration is already fucked up. The correspondence is already fucked up. So much so, you remember when in that same area of time, when motherfuckers was like, yo, nation building. We trying to nation build. We trying to nation build. And what was nation building? Just fucking. Procreating. Like finding somebody who's quote unquote pro-black and you just want to fuck. Like, yo, y'all aren't really trying to build a nation. Y'all aren't really trying to understand the economical structure. Y'all not really trying to understand the systems and how they actually work and play. Y'all not trying to do that. Y'all just trying to fuck with people. Like, when I was talking about the sapiosexuals and shit, sapiosexuals just want to fuck smart people. Because the programming for the lust is always there. So the attraction is now what you're going to vibrate to. So now, I'm going to put myself on a vibration of, oh, I want to interact. I like smart people. This is what I'm still a lustful deviant. It doesn't matter what I'm fucking. It doesn't matter what I'm fucking. Now I'm just attracting now what next to fuck. Men and women. Now we have to realize, now we're going into a little bit deeper aspect now since I mentioned the sex part. As black people, they be looking at it from the promiscuous side, but they don't realize that a part of the prisoner of war shit that we was under is breeding. We was on breeder farms. This is why promiscuity is so deep within the community. It's not something we just woke up to do. This is epigenetic and transgenerational, but it honors a law of attraction. You feel me? But now it's fucked up because now the world is like, oh shit. We didn't know that the fact that we was oppressing them, they would still turn shit to sugar and we would want the shit. And now our kids are now emulating what we thought we can make minstrel shows off of for them. Our kids are now doing what they're doing. And we don't get it anymore. Now we want to put halts to it. Now we want to control it. Now we want to taint it. It's cool when it was just them that was affected by it. Now they're realizing how impactful it is. Because again, you cannot violate the laws of the universe. They will work. Because while you're creating whatever it is to implement on black people are shifting the vibration of everybody else to make them correspond with what we do. Especially us here in America. There was a reason why it's like, how the fuck does what happened in America reverberate so much? Because what we were and what we are is not any different from any other black people on any other continent. However, the colonialism that happened within us, it did not take root the way that everybody else did. It didn't take root. And because it didn't take root, we're the ones who are still, I guess we're like the latter ones, and we're still kind of dealing with the lingering effects. And we have a lot of our sacred knowledge still alive. They shifted it and made it seem like everything is from Africa and shit like that, but no, everything is Africoid. It's not necessarily that everything's from Africa. Everything is Africoid. It is the genetic template that runs within us, and we'll talk about that another day. But these things are wired to the law of attraction. And these things are wired to the law of attraction in the sense of piggybacking off of the oneness, the correspondence, and the vibration. Again, I haven't even gotten to the other 8. But I'm showing in real time what the fuck is, this is why we are the way that we are. Because this is what we attract and we repel. Now, when we look at religion works with the law of vibration too. I mean, the law of attraction too. Religion makes you repel shit that makes you think. I'm doing a dramatic pause on that motherfucker right there. Religion is going to make you attract things or attract to things that you can only believe in, and it's going to make you repel things that make you think. Religion is not designed to be thought about. It's designed to be believed in. You're going to be put on a vibration where you accept somebody, you trust in somebody as the truth. You're going to correspond accordingly. So you hear things that, and this is something that is a direct correlation, and it ties to the law of attraction. The most religious people on this earth, I'm not just talking about, and I'm not limited it to race or anything like that, but I'm definitely going to limit it to gender. The most religious people are women. Specifically black women, but the most religious people are women. What is one of the number one phrases that women will utter from their mouth? It's not what you say, but how you say it. Women don't have to hear the truth. It just has to sound like it. It has to sound like what they want to hear. I'm not shitting on y'all. I'm not trying to be no red pill ass nigga. I'm not trying to be on that. I'm speaking from the facts. Y'all will say, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Y'all focus more on how something is said than what is said. Now, tying it back to that episode on masculine spirituality where I was saying men don't have a spiritual system. We only pick up the spiritual system of the women the vagina we come out of or the vagina we trying to go into. Men don't really fuck with religion. We fuck with pussy. We will change our religion for some pussy. Because vibrationally, this is what it is. We would change our religion for some pussy. So the society is structured to be contingent upon, let's make sure the pussy makes the world go whoop whoop. You feel me? Pussy legit makes the world go round. But why does pussy make the world go round? Because if we can make women follow the religion and make women feel a certain way about a religion, they'll get the men to do whatever we want them to do. If we can put the women onto a space where they are not thinking, but they are feeling, we put them in that vibration. Now we give them, quote unquote, devotions and all of this other shit. and we tie them to religion. This is why women are the most religious people, not men. Men just stand over the religions to monitor the women. And now it's like I can use the women to operate from the law of attraction. You feel me? And I'm going to help the law of attraction work out because now it's like I'm going to determine what they attract based off of what they correspond with. So now when women say, it's not what you say, but how you say it, I don't need to hear the truth. I just need to feel like it's true. Oh, goodness. I don't need to hear the truth. I just need to feel like I can trust you. And when I know my sisters, y'all have listening, y'all probably gotten y'all that shit slapped you in the face right now. And you wonder why we lie. You don't need to hear the truth from me. You just need to feel like you can trust me. And now I don't need to tell you the truth. I just need to get you to trust me. This is the vibration we on. Why don't relationships work? Why can't relationships work? What the fuck is wrong with relationships? They working fine. You just don't know how they're supposed to work. Now, women say, I want a man who's going to lead. I want a man who maintains the belief that I have in him. You don't want a man that can lead for real because you got to understand what real leadership really is. I don't want any woman vibrating on the frequency to understand what leadership is. So I'm going to give her the perspective of a leader that is a motherfucker in the front who's willing to fight, who's willing to do stupid, but he's not going to make you think. Now, the man that can make you think, I'm going to make you feel like, oh, no, you're trying to brainwash me. I'm not. But now I've already put the parameters around your mind to make sure that you don't think. As a woman. And if you do think, you only think about the things that align with what makes you trust in what's being said to you. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to put it in perspective like this. I've dealt with women who are on the fence with religion or whatever the case. I'm not even in the game. I'm completely off. But now they want to talk to me about religion. They're like, oh, but you can believe what you know. For me, there is no believe in what you want to believe. There is an understanding. I am at a totally different vibration, correspondence, and attraction. The sole fact that we have attracted one another, you're ready to let go, but you're afraid to let go. You're ready to let go, but you don't know what is next. I can't help you see what's next because of the vibration that you're on. This now goes into the law of attraction versus repulsion. Every woman that I met who was always on the fence of the religion or whatever the case may be, and we talking this shit, simultaneously, she wanted to attract, but she didn't want to repel. That's where your insanity loops come in. That's where the craziness comes in. That's where you start to feel fucked up because you run into people that have left it fully. Or you run into people that are just like you. Still, I'm not trying, like I've already repelled it. That's why I attract everything else so well, right? But when the wiring has already been set to where it's like, okay, here's the vibration, here's the correspondence. It's always women that can bring a man back into a religion when it's based off the trust and not the truth. Which is crazy because people be thinking, you're telling me the truth because I trust you. Truth and trusting are two totally different things. I think people think because they got the TRU in the beginning. No, these are not the same words. Truth and trust is two totally different things. So I was dealing with a woman one time. Like we were calibrated towards each other because, she's trying to be, in the woke space and she's trying to, people don't get it. This was not a phase for me. This was not like, I got excited with the conscious community because I said, finally, niggas really do what I do. I didn't know that motherfuckers were just playing semantics and shit. And they wasn't willing to repel what they were trying to attract. You feel what I'm saying? So shorty was, we was vibing and shit. And then we just linked up. Not just linked up, but like last year we started vibing and shit. Like I went to kick it with her for a bit. And she tried to invite me to church. I'm like, did you forget? Oh, no, I'm just saying, you never know. Because I don't need a pastor to give me inspiration. I don't need that shit. And she was like, you should still What happened to you? I'm like, did you not forget who you were fucking with? Like, it was never a phase for me. But then I had to start putting into the perspective of respecting the laws of the universe. You feel what I'm saying? Some people's vibration doesn't change. Some people's correspondence doesn't change no matter what decoration they put on it to attempt to attract something, because they still have to repel what they need to let go. Her vibration was still the same. Her correspondence was still the same, as above, so below. So she was going to attract the same shit. And she thought because that's what she was on, that I was on the same shit. No, I really know this shit. Not only do I know it, I know what it's doing to you. This goes back into what I was saying about how for some pussy, a nigga would literally change his spiritual practice because he ain't really got one. You see what I'm saying? So now when we make our women, when they vibrate the women in the space to correspond with belief, they don't have to hear the truth. They only have to trust the person that's giving them the information, because it's not what you say, it's how you say it. That is a staple in the woman's community. Damn it. In the women's genre and women's sphere, that is a staple. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. You can't tell somebody how to say the truth. And when somebody's giving you the truth and you don't like, oh, nah, that's wrong because it doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me feel good. Now, if you've heard the recent episode about matriarchal erasure, it ties into this. Because patriarchy was developed when you have the capacity to eliminate the matriarchy. And when you eliminate the matriarchy, you can now shift the matriarchy into doing what you want, into doing what the patriarchy needs it to do. For this to be a patriarchal religion, and for this to be patriarchal as a system as a whole, how are women so viable in it? Why are women deciding to be so viable in it? Think about it. Especially, and they leverage black women in this for this very reason, because they understand how to manipulate that matriarchal energy. Black women are the most educated. Black women are the most religious. What's keeping this country standing right now? Black women. They'll tell you, we let us do it. You know why? They vibrationally said that only you can do it. But we have to control you religiously, and we have to control you educationally. We know what you're going to attract. We know what you're going to repel, because we know what vibration we put you on. We know what you're going to correspond to. And now when your attraction, that law of attraction kicks in, we build off that. We're going to make sure you don't fuck with your men. Your men aren't smart enough to fuck with you, not realizing that your men have reached a point where they see through the bullshit in the facade that you can't see through yet. You know why? Because they don't give a fuck about how it's said. And I'm not shitting on my sisters. I'm showing you how they got us fucked up. They never attacked. They attacked the man. They attacked the woman by way of the man first with the butt breaking. But once they got the woman in line, it was simple. Because now she's gonna subjugate her kids without knowing that they're subjugated. Without knowing that they're subjugated, because it's how I feel. And nobody wants to make mama feel bad. Nobody wants to make grandma feel bad. Nobody wants to make nobody gives a fuck about how daddy feel. Nobody gives a fuck about how, uncle, grandpa feel. Nobody gives a fuck about how men feel. Everybody wants to worry about how women feel, because it's not about truth. It's about trust. They have vibrationally put our women in a space where they don't want the truth. They just want to feel like they're hearing it. However, I said it before, when it was the bar, that was when it was hitting. I'm going to have to re-listen to this episode so I can get that part out. But they don't want to hear the truth. They just want to feel like they can trust the person that's talking to them. Which is now, okay, how do we fuck this up as men? Well, we're going to lie. I can't give you the truth. You don't want to hear it. I was just posting and I was just talking about this, like, when a motherfucker's already decided what they want to hear, they're not going to listen to you. When women come to you with a, and I want you to lie, they already know what they have programmed their mind to say everything that's going to come out your mouth is a lie. I'm not trusting anything that's coming out of your mouth, so it doesn't matter what you say. You can tell me the truth, you can tell me the truth down to the detail, but I've already decided that this ain't the truth, and I don't trust it. Why? How did you come to that reality with no facts, no information, no nothing? That's why I be saying, intuition without intelligence is insecurity. You know how many insecure motherfuckers is running around talking about my intuition? Your intuition didn't tell you shit because you don't even have the information to make you feel the situation. But because it is about what you feel and you're already wired to know how you're supposed to feel and what you're supposed to attract to. We be thinking, like, how come I seen a phrase, and I'm showing y'all the law of attraction in play and a couple of other laws too. I seen a phrase that said, women, how y'all know when y'all man cheating, but you don't know when he ain't happy? Because again, when you already decided what you want to hear, you ain't listening to shit else. You know he's entertaining another bitch, but you don't know when you're not entertaining to him. That's crazy. Simultaneously, my niggas. And you'd be like, yo, how did you not know? How did you not know she was a hoe? How did you not know she was a freak? How did you not know? How did you meet her, my nigga? This is for y'all niggas that want to meet the chicks in the club and shit. When you met her, she was grinding on another nigga dick, bro. That's how you seen her from across the room. And you say, yo, you feel me? And now you shocked that you caught her with another nigga from across the room. When you met her, she was grinding on another man's dick in public, bro. This isn't the shit on women, and it's not, because I like getting grinded on when I'm in the club dancing and shit like that. But I don't expect that to be a woman that I can say, you know what, I'm gonna marry you. That's not me. That's not me, because I know I'm in this moment. This isn't who we are. You feel me? This isn't my attraction. This is an event that I'm in because I've learned to see attraction from the universal law and not from this lustful perspective that they want me to stay in. Yes, her ass is fat. Yes, her titties are straight. Yes, we in a club and it's dark and she grinded to the right song and shit. But outside of that, I'm not attracted to her. Cause this don't correspond with nothing in my life. I'm just in the club right now. But some of y'all have made clubs your life. The club space your life. Some of y'all have made these different outlets and these different vibrations that you want your life because you're not seeing what you're attracting and what you're repelling. Now, on this other side of that, tying it to the repulsion, because I don't think I talked much about the repulsion side of it. Imagine when you constantly saying, you know, I like the bad bitch, I want the bad bitch, and I want the home. Like you repel the homebody. Your desire for the bad bitch and your lust, and this is when it comes to the emotional side of the correspondence, because once you infuse the emotions and the feelings into it, it now triggers you a certain way. You feel me? And now this is what, low key, this is why emotion is so important and emotional intelligence is so important. But a lot of people be thinking emotional intelligence is always just giving your emotions. No, it's emotional intelligence is deep because first you have to understand what emotions are. Joy and pain are the only emotions. Everything else is a feeling. But you have to understand the two derivations of the feelings that lead to the two emotions. You're gonna have joyous feelings, or you're gonna have painful feelings. But they're gonna lead to those two emotions, joy and pain, right? Emotional intelligence is being able to navigate all of those feelings when they come in, but then being able to use them accordingly. Like that's the law of transmutable energy. That's about 2 episodes away. But from that law of attraction, energy is what fuels it. What we feel is what fuels it. What fuels it. Now we're starting to go up the chakras. Sacral energy, that's where that sits. The feelings sit there. The sacral energy. So that helps fuel what we have. So now, this is wild. If we look at the first 3 laws, now again, all the laws are in synergy with each other. You can use them at certain points. I'm using this as just a standard benchmark. We just made it to the sacral chakra, which is the second one. And we are at 4. We're at the 4th law. So the law of vibration, the law of divine oneness, and the law of correspondence kind of sit at the root chakra, which is basically about survival. You feel me? So they can cap you into these certain things. You dig what I'm saying? They cap you into these certain things based off of how well these laws are going to be at play. And these laws are always going to be at play. It's just whether or not you know it's a law. And you know whether or not you're in violation of the law or the law is really attuned to you. You feel what I'm saying? So again, I'm looking at it from the repulsive perspective, right? Everything, when people say, why does my life keep happening this way? Because you're literally, you tell yourself that you want everything bad to be attracted to you. You're in a vibrational space. And it's like people be saying, I don't want this. I don't want this life. What are you calibrated to? What vibration are you on? What's your correspondence? You think you deserve bad shit. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Now, when I ask that question, a lot of people think it's like, it's not my fault. You're right. It's not your fault, but it's your responsibility. It's not your fault because there is literally a system designed to put you in this space. But it's your responsibility because the universe says you got free will. It's not on me that you don't know how to find this information. It's not on me that they're keeping it from you. It's not on me that you don't know that this is at play. You know, you feel it on a cosmic level. You feel something ain't right. Why does this happen this way? Because you're vibrating this way. Now we get into the law of attraction and repulsion. What things are you willing to stop to make sure you attract what you really want to attract? You feel me? I'm using myself again. Because again, I smoke. I'm now in a space now where all I really got to do is make my music and put it to my Instagram and shit and, run my shit how I run it, right? Here's the kicker, right? And one of my homies, man, she used to tell me all the time, yo, you got to quit smoking. It's going to fuck up your gift. You got to quit smoking. I was like, man, I'll quit smoking when it's time to start doing the gift again. You know how hard it is to rap now? My breath control is trash. That shit used to be on point. But now I'm at a point where I have synchronized, and now I'm showing you that I put the 12th law of the law of attraction into play with this, but I'm going to show you how the other laws are now at play as well. So when it came to, entrepreneurship and wanting to set up everything, my system was, when I realized that, music, they use music to sell products, and I wanted to create a world where I can do all of it. Have my brands, have my, all of the shit that I wanted to do. So as I'm looking at, the aspect of it, to attract the next life, right, I have to repel the old one. And this is where it's got me fucked up. I'm going to tell you where it got me fucked up, bro. And it's like, damn, homie, you really at the crossroads. I'm at the crossroads, and I won't be lonely, and I'm going to miss everybody. But I'm at the crossroads because if to attract that next phase means that I have to get into the music a lot heavier, a lot deeper, have to put more sessions out, get more frequent with it. But it means I have to repel the smoking, right? Because I got to get my lung capacity up and everything like that. But it's an addiction. And if I don't repel the smoking, I will never attract the next phase. So it's like, you got a decision to make. And this is a big ass fucking decision, but it's not a big decision to me because it's like knowing what I want to achieve and the things of that nature, but it shows how deep this attraction, this what you call it is, because now when I look at what I have to repel, it's not just as simple as, and I'm using this example to show why it becomes difficult to, get rid of addictions, to change your life and to change certain circumstances, even though it seems like it's such a small tweak. It's not, because you have to repel everything that is attached to the blockage, and you have to attract everything that is attached to the clearing, right? I have to heal my lungs to get my lung capacity back up to the point where it's not identifiable. You feel me? I have to repel, and in addition to repelling, I have to restore and heal my lungs. I have to go back get the oils. There's a lot of things that I got to do. My body has to get back into emotion. I have to get into certain things. It's not just stopping it. Now, I'm using my own self as an example to explain how easy it is to stay the same and get lost to comfortability, because sometimes it ain't just about comfortability. It's about everything, and it's about how much discomfort it will take to change. But then this is when you have to get to a point where you have to see it's about benefit versus detriment, not good versus evil. You feel me? Because everything that I'm now supposed to attract is beneficial as fuck, but it's kind of bad. It's bad because it's like all of the shit that I got to let go of. And I've learned, and as I'm learning what's coming with the attraction, I use the core of that as just the smoking and the music part. That's not all of it. That's not all of it. That's not all of it at all. Because it was a vibration, a full vibration that I was on that even allowed me to attract to being able to smoke in the first place. So this is now going into relationships with people, relationships with family, relationships with friends, just old versions of myself, all of that shit. These things are dying. These things are dying right before me. And it's like, damn, if I walk into this shit, that shit's gone. All of that. Because there was more to just me picking up a cigar and starting to smoke. You feel what I'm saying? There was an entire vibration I was on that led to a certain correspondence that allowed me to attract the reality in which I smoked, which in turn made me repel a reality in which I didn't. You feel what I'm saying? Off that other side of that, to attract the reality in which I don't smoke and I'm able to make my music, it requires me to repel the reality in which those things were not prevalent. The vibration that I had been on that took me away from making music was me going to school, was me going to school when I got my degree and shit, and med school, like everything that took me away from music, that made me repel myself from music, is a part of the vibration. So this is one of the reasons why I'm explaining it this way. Because when we actually look at the law of attraction, everybody wants to make it seem like it's some easy shit, like I just think about it and I get it and done, and it's done. No, with the law of attraction comes a law of repulsion as well. But you also have to think about what vibration and correspondence you now have to attract and repel. It's beyond habitual. It's beyond lifestyle change. It is vibration, my nigga. There's a lot of things that you got to change. There's a lot of stigmas that have already been planted. There's a lot of seeds and roots that have to actually be uprooted. There's things that have to be planted in order for you to fully change your reality. You have to be on the right vibration in order to correspond with the things that you want to attract. It don't just come as I'm just going to sit there and say, home, namaste, I want to be a child of attractive. That's why this YouTube shit, that's why these Instagrammers, that's why all of this shit is fucking y'all up. Dear chosen one, you're going to be the one to break the cycle. Dear chosen one, you're going to be able to do this. Hey, homie, you the one that's going to take this to the next level and shit. When you are able to acknowledge that you don't want to be on the current level you're on. A lot of motherfuckers think that they're going to level up at the same level. That shit don't work like that. They've convinced you that you can still vibrate at a higher level on the same level you vibrating on, based off of your misinterpretation of the law of attraction. Shit don't work like that, my nigga. Shit don't fucking work like that. And it's damn sure not that easy. The law of attraction works in tandem with the law of repulsion. They just don't teach you about the law of repulsion. In order to learn about the law of repulsion, in addition to the law of, this is why physics is important. This is why physics is important. This is why magnetism is important. Everybody says, oh, we magnetize towards each other. And okay, what does that mean? One of y'all is the North Pole, one of y'all is the South Pole. And this is what they mean when they say opposites attract. But here's what they don't teach you. When magnets collide, opposites, do attract, but they neutralize each other. But in the terms of magnetism, when two opposing magnets come together, one has a North Pole, one has a South Pole. The North Pole and the South Pole has to come together to connect. But when these two things connect, there's still only one North Pole and one South Pole. When they connect at the North Pole and the South Pole, they connect, and now they shift the entire paradigm from one North Pole to one South Pole. So where the 2 points connect, they blend. They blend. That's what they don't teach you about magnetism. So when people hear magnetism, they think the opposites attracting, and when they attract and they come together, they now move off the opposite side. It's hard for me to explain that visual just vocally, like it's something that you would have to see, but I'm going to try it again. You have two magnets. One has a North Pole, one has a South Pole, right? The North Pole and the South Pole is what connects to each other. The North Pole and the North Pole is what repels each other, right? When you connect the North Pole to a South Pole, there still only leaves one full North Pole, one total North Pole and one South Pole. The poles in which they connected at kind of disappear. They disappear. So it's in that context where they say opposites attract, and once they connect, they blend. They disappear within one another. But overall, there's still going to be a polarity of a repulsion and an attraction, a North Pole and a South Pole. You see what I'm saying? So as I was saying, when you have that law of attraction kicking in from the magnetism's perspective, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna start trying to wrap it up. From a magnetism perspective, that attraction is not necessarily going to be what's opposite to you from a magnet's perspective. It's going to be the very things that now connect with you. The repulsion is now the things that disconnect from you. This is why I was talking about the crown chakra as well when I mentioned that, because it's about earthly attachment. Your law of repulsion will never kick in correctly, and your law of attraction will never kick in correctly if you're attached to the very things that you want to disconnect from. So when people say, I want to attract and I'm manifesting and I want to attract the new life of abundance and this, that, and the third, you can't attract abundance if you're refusing to repel lack. There's that post going around where people saying, I don't feel like somebody who's teaching me a course should charge me what they charging me. Are you willing to go find the information? Are you willing to look for it? Nah, but I don't think it should cost that much. Okay, cool. You want to attract a life of abundance and wealth, but you don't want to repel a life of lack and poverty. Well, I shouldn't have to pay that much for this, that, and the third. Why? Why do you feel like you shouldn't have to pay that much? Because what vibration are you on? When you want a poverty-stricken and a lack mentality, you will vibrate according to I should be able to get wealthy for free. Do you see how that works? This is law of attraction at play, but people forget about the law of repulsion. So people say, like, everybody knows I teach mastering the market and shit. Now motherfuckers be like, yo, can you teach me? You can join it's too expensive. I'm not paying for that. Okay. That's perfectly fine with me. I feel like you should drop the price. I don't. I feel like you should I told y'all I'm not doing that anymore. This is a part of the law of attraction at play that I was violating. Certain things I wasn't repelling because I was so busy I want to help people. I realized I was trying to help people who did not want to honor the law of attraction by moving with the law of repulsion. They didn't want to repel the lack mentality. You feel me? They weren't trying to repel that side of them. They were only trying to attract the wealth. Those two things don't go hand in hand. They don't. So you cannot attract the side of it without repelling what's keeping you from it. And they're like, so you mean to tell me if I pay full price and shit, then it's because now you're getting the skill that is supposed to open. Like, all this is skills. That's it. You just want an answer. You want a quick fix. I can't give you that. I have to give you a skill set that you have to learn, mature, and develop. That's law of attraction. But you have to be willing to repel what's keeping you from wanting to learn the skill and wanting to use the skill. No, it's that shit really, it opened me up because I'm like, oh, there's so many people who don't know how to respect the law of attraction. They just want the law of attraction. They're not looking at the law of attraction from, yo, what do I have to repel from this shit? This is something that's really happening in our community. We feel like I want to get out of this situation. I want to get out of this very expensive situation for free or as cheap as possible. And this is what fucks our people up so much. This is why they say, well, how come soon as we get it, nobody pays attention to the law of attraction and repulsion at play. I'm not shitting on none of the people because I understand from a business perspective, I understand what it's like. Yeah, I want people in my material. I'm going to charge them the low or whatever the case may be. You can teach them all day long, but you are now allowing them to refuse the lack. You are giving them the pass to, how can I say this? You're going to keep them in the lack. If you're trying to teach people financial literacy, but you're not charging them, and I don't mean out the yin yang, but if you're actually reducing the price of your stuff, and you know that your quality is what it is, but you're reducing the price of it to significantly low, you'll never help them people get out of their situation. They're not repelling themselves from the lack mentality. This is how capitalism works. This is why capitalism works. I don't give a fuck if I sell you, if I sell you a course for $500, if I sell you a course for $27, it doesn't matter. If you are repelled from an abundant mentality, you're not going to change either way. It doesn't matter what I charge you. When I dropped my prices down for the Master in the Market course from like when I was hitting those sales and shit, hey, get it for $45. This is a $400 course. And I'm selling, hey, get it for 45, get it for 35, this, that, and third, because I just want to help people. I can't help people. I cannot go against the law of vibration. I cannot go against the law of correspondence. I cannot go against the law of attraction. They want to attract, but they don't want to repel. I can't do shit for them. It doesn't matter what I drop the price for. And the more we do that, this is how capitalism works, and this is why poverty and the gap gets so wide. Because people get these sales and they get these discounts and they get all of this shit, and they don't understand that this is how they're being played. I don't want anybody who can't afford to pay it. Because when you finally get serious, that means you're willing to repel the very shit that is keeping you from attracting. Because now when I tell people, they're like, yo, this doesn't fit. I can't afford that right now. Okay, that's cool. Well, let me know when you drop it down again. No. Because like, why would I do that? You see how you don't want to repel, but you want to attract? If there was anything else, you would find a way and find the money in getting this to do what you need to do. And this is not a shameless plug and trying to get people into the course or whatever the case may be. But I'm speaking for real because this is how the law of attraction plays out. A lot of people don't see, they never pay attention to the law of repulsion, the shit that you got to give up. So like when I see some of the people that are teaching about investing and finances and growth and all that shit, and they're charging people like $30, $40, I'm not mad at that. Get your paper, yaper. But what is that doing to the people who get into your courses for the low? You have the few people that's like, I'm going to take this serious. I'm going to get the information. I'm going to grow. But then how many people never do anything with it because they still have not divorced the lack mentality? The lack mentality is why they only waited until the discount dropped because they felt I didn't have it. That poverty-stricken mentality is still there. They have not repelled themselves from it. Do you see what I'm saying? That's the law of attraction. That means that their vibration and their correspondence is still there. I can't change that within them. There's not a motivational speech. There's not a webinar. There's not a podcast. There's not nothing that you can do to change somebody's attunement to the laws of the universe. So when we talk about the law of attraction, and we talk about the law of attraction in such detail that we're looking at it from the perspective of, yo, my life isn't changing. I'm not growing. I'm not this, that, and the third. Are you repelling the anchors? Yes, you want your boats to rise. Yes, you want your life to move a certain way, but are you repelling what anchors you? Do you feel me? It sounds good. It legit, it sounds good as fuck, bruh. Like on some real shit. It sounds good as fuck. But you got to ask yourself, are you repelling to make room for the attraction? You feel me? We in a space where a lot of us are spiritually hoarders. And we think spiritual hoarding is abundance. It ain't. When you really want to walk into abundance, understand that there's always the law of attraction is going to be at its highest. But equally, the law of repulsion you're going to constantly give and take away, give and give away, give and give away. The law of attraction is why a lot of millionaires and billionaires don't get punished, but why a lot of people envy it. Millionaires and billionaires can end homelessness and poverty and shit like that. No, they can't. They can't. They can't. Because you're not paying attention to the fact that poverty is a vibration. Therefore, it's a correspondence. Therefore, it's a law of attraction. It honors, it covers 3 or 4 laws. You can throw all the money you want to at it. It ain't going to change. But you see that mentality of thinking that somebody else has to change your circumstance for you? Why are you on a vibration of helplessness? Why are you on a vibration of hopelessness? Because now your life corresponds with that. Which turns you which makes what? Victimhood. This is why philanthropy is a thing. They're like, yo, how do billionaires keep getting tax cuts and shit like that? Because they know how to give their money away. They know how to repel just as much as they know how to attract. All you want to do at this level is attract and not realize what you have to repel because of lack mentality. I don't want to give anything up. I just want to keep getting things. That's a hoarder. That's a hoarder. This is one of the reasons why it's hard for people to get out of their poverty-stricken situations, because they don't understand that they have to fucking repel. The law of attraction is not just about receiving. It is about giving. If you want to receive abundantly, you have to give abundantly. This is why the goal of every billionaire, the goal of every millionaire, when you start getting into these spaces, break even as much as possible. But in breaking even, buy assets along the way. That's the game. That's the law of attraction at play. But again, when you don't know the law of repulsion that's supposed to go with it, you'll miss that whole thing, and you'll never want to give anything up. You'll never want to give anything up. And it's in the repulsion that makes the attraction stronger. You feel what I'm saying? If I don't have any space to attract anything that I want, then all I can do is repel what I want to attract. You feel me? How many opportunities have you missed because you, quote unquote, weren't in the right position at the right time? It's bullshit. You were always in the right position at the right time. Like, now when people always say, oh, this is the wrong person, the right time, or whatever the case may be, right person, wrong time, there's never a situation like that. There's only a moment when you attracted you attracted something and you refused to repel something else. I'm going to say this and I'm going to really, really wrap it up. This will be the last story that I say in ties to this. When I was in undergrad, I had a girlfriend that was a part of the life I didn't want anymore. And every woman that was aligning with, like, when I say they were bad, my nigga, they was bad. But I didn't want to repel that to attract what I was supposed to be attracting. I tried to keep both feet in and out of the, in and out. Like, I'm balanced. They keep trying to tell y'all, like, this is what's fucking y'all up. This balance shit. Y'all are imbalanced because you're balanced. Oh, I'm balanced. You got to have, like, no. It's law of attraction. Balanced. You equally attract what you repel, and then you increase the magnitude and the abundance in which you do it. But y'all want to be balanced, so y'all want to keep all that you're supposed to repel and only take in a little bit of what you're supposed to attract. Nope. That's how you fuck yourself up. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. So when I was talking about, the girlfriend, it's like, yo, I was supposed to be, like, I was literally repelling from her as I was attracting to a newer life. I had become Mr. Honors Hall. I had, like, when we were vibing, when we were attracted to each other, I was just smoking weed and studying and going to class. I was getting high all the time. But then when I became Mr. Honors Hall, I started working out. You feel me? I was just like, I was dressing up all the time. And I started repelling her. And it just, like, the more it happened, when she actually cheated on me, I'm looking at it from the perspective of, oh, I was so mad, don't get me wrong, it's fucked up. But now when I looked in hindsight through the healing and shit, I looked at it as, when I understood the law of attraction was at play. I was attracting a whole different life, and I didn't realize that I was repelling this motherfucker. I was repelling a motherfucker who didn't want to disconnect. I was no longer attracted to her. Was she still cute to me? Yes. Was she still, everything was everything. Don't get me wrong. But I was no longer attracted to her by universal law. We were not on the same vibration anymore. We did not correspond the same way. And we never did. But she was thick. She was a freak. And she was what I had already been calibrated to from a young age at 18, 19 years old to like when I seen it. And she had already been calibrated that this is what niggas like. So I'm going to be it. And we didn't realize we was being attracted to each other based off of a calibration. And once we started living and started developing and growing into ourselves and shit, it was, we're repelling each other. We're not attracted. We're not attracted. This is why people make that specification. You got to be physically attractive and shit like that. And you got to be cute and handsome and all this other shit. All that shit don't mean shit when you truly attracted according to the laws of the universe, bro. Like, align with the shit that I like to do. You feel me? You know how off my life got because I was literally in the vibration that the motherfuckers wanted to be around but didn't want to attract. There's a difference there. When the conscious community started, the motherfuckers, oh, you got to eat clean. You got to do this. You got to do this. You got to do this. When I was actually doing it, it's because it's like, yo, I vibrate for that, y'all. So I'm going to attract this shit. But I never wanted to repel the reality that was before me because I didn't want to feel like, oh, I'm better than y'all. I don't feel like that. But I'm just saying, like when you get into a space where it's like, yo, I'm not like y'all. I'm this, that, and the third. And you start to hold on to what you don't want to repel. You can't have both. The law of attraction won't allow it. You're either going to attract or you're going to repel. And you'll stay so far away from what you want to attract when you refuse to repel shit. I'm speaking from experience. This is why when I said like that woman that I had spun the block with, and again, she's dope. She was dope then, she's dope now, she's just not for me no more. We're not attracted to each other. And she's bad. She's bad as fuck. Like, but we were never attracted to each other. I didn't realize it. Bro. I didn't realize it because I was too young to realize it. And I don't know, and I don't mean young in age, I mean just in experience of life. I had not studied the 12 laws of the universe at the time. But now I understand, like, oh damn. She was like, that's not what I was supposed to be on. I was never attracted to her. I look back and I go over my life and I'm like, there's a lot of things that I thought I wanted, that I thought I was attracted to, that I wasn't. Because of the predisposed laws being at play by the quote unquote forces that be. The detox is crazy. But I can't go backwards. And I can only, but I also couldn't go forward because I didn't realize, yo, there's a lot of things you're going to have to repel. There's a lot of things that you're going to repel. Are you ready to repel them? You're not going to get anything that you want that requires the attraction until you start repelling some shit. That's the game. But in order to know what you repel, you have to repel. You have to know what you correspond with. In order to correspond, you have to know what vibration you're on. In order for the vibration, you have to understand the divine oneness. Where are you at in all of this? Not in the vibration everybody has you already wired to. Where are you at in this? Like real shit. You feel me? These are lessons that I had to learn through the healings of all of the shit that I gone through, all of the scars that I went through, and everything else. It had to develop me to say, yo, I was never in this motherfucker. I was aligned with other people's vibrations. So anything that I attracted, I couldn't keep because I wasn't attracted to it. I would wonder, like, how do I run out of attention so quick with this? Because I'm not attracted to it. I'm not attracted to it, but I won't repel it. And I don't know that I'm supposed to repel it, and I don't know that I'm not attracted to it. Because it fits the mold of the performative person that I am. It fits the mold of the vibration that I've been wired to. It fits the mold of what I had to correspond with, but it's never me. That's why that law of divine oneness is so important, because you have to know who you are. That's why the vibration is so important, because you have to realize what frequency of things do I constantly consume that show me this. What law of correspondence is as above, so below, as within, so without. What things within my mind are programmed to make me act this way? Now, the way in which I act and the way in which I perform is now correlating to what I attract. What I now feel comfortable with. And it's like what I attract and what I repel. You feel me? And it's like I could never find or be in a space. It's been years since I've been in a space where I was like, I'm cool. A lot of us be thinking we're loners and shit. You're not a loner, my nigga. You're not really a loner. You're vibrating at a frequency, and you're kind of knowing the law of vibration without knowing the law of law of attraction without knowing the law of attraction. You think, oh, I'm an introvert when I go to parties. No, you know you ain't supposed to be at that fucking party. You're not attracted to that shit. And you know you're not attracted to that shit, but you think you're trying to figure out a way to be attracted to it based off of everything that society told you is right, and you won't repel it. I find peace in art museums. I find peace when I'm reading, I'm meditating, I'm out in nature. Like, I find that shit. I'm attracted to that shit, which means I have to repel chaos. Now, when people say, oh, well, don't you need friends and all? Yes, I need friends in my life. Yes, I need people in my life as interaction, but I don't need chaos, my nigga. Chaos ain't friendly. Chaos ain't friendly at fucking all. But they've convinced us that we're supposed to operate within a certain space. And we're not. We're just not. And that's okay. That's okay. But as long as you are in that space where you are vibrating a certain way and you're going to correspond a certain way, you're going to literally get into the law of attraction. Otherwise, if you don't get into the law of attraction, you're going to get stuck in the law of repulsion. And both of them, they're going to determine what kind of actions you're inspired to do and you're inspired by. And don't forget to check out Cafe Clothing, formerly Just Scenes merch. Get all of your intricate designs crafted specifically for the melanated being to develop a positive imagery within self and to have a little bit of fun in the process. From the peace, love, knowledge, and freedom to the dead horses and water designs, all of the styles are crafted for the imagery to make you feel as you're supposed to feel. Because as I always say, the best way to fit in is to stand out. And what better way to stand out than with your exclusive styles from Cafe Clothing. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. Yo, this one long as fuck, bro. I'm sorry, y'all. These 12 laws are long. I don't know why. Like, this shit long. I'm trying to keep them as short as possible, but it's like, as I flow, it just flow. Like, I don't know what's going on right now. I don't know what's going on, but I appreciate y'all for listening this long. But yeah, for real. That's the law of attraction. Don't mystify this shit. Don't act like it's like, oh, it's all peaches and cream and shit. Like, that's what the fuck is wrong with this shit, bro. Like, we put ourselves in a situation where, again, they want us to be in a vibration where we only focus on trusting what's being said rather than actually acknowledging the truth. This is why motherfuckers don't fuck with the antithesis. This is why motherfuckers don't fuck with the other side of shit. You feel me? We look at perspectives of the laws of attraction. We don't consider the law of repulsion. My manifestations are going to work. Okay, so what are you giving up? What are you giving up to gain? Now, here's where it gets fucked up because I just said that, and if you're a religious person listening to something, instantly, the law of vibration is so tainted in religious people that when you tell somebody you got to give up something to get something, they automatically assume it's your soul. Nigga, what? Why? Wait, where? How did that even come into your mind? Because that's what they teach you. They teach you in order to change and shift your life according to the law of attraction and law of repulsion, you got to give up your soul to do it. That's some crazy shit. Now, the average person will not choose to operate under the law of attraction for that very reason. I'm giving up my soul. I got to give my soul up. No, you don't. That you have to repel something in order to attract something else. It just so fucking happens that wealth and abundance and things of that nature, to attract them, you have to repel the very things that bind you, which include religion. I'm just saying, religion is one of the things that, like, a lot of people feel I become prosperous and I get certain, because I get certain rewards. I can still get my house. I can still get this and that there. How much more abundant would you be if you were not shackled by the guilt of being abundant? That's what I mean by that. You know how many motherfuckers are like, they feel like something would be wrong with them if they gained abundantly. Because they say, well, what is the man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? What is the man to keep it? Gain the whole world and keep it. Oh, that's not possible. Why is it not possible? Because a motherfucker told you it's not possible. So vibrationally, you won't even attempt it, which means you won't repel the very limitation that's keeping you from attracting the freedom. That's the first buffer, bro. That's one of the strongest buffers. The religions that we follow and shit, it keeps us from actually walking into the law of attraction, which is crazy, bro. It keeps you from honoring the law because you now have to ask for permission for the vibrations and shit that you want. So anything that you attract has to be in alignment with what you feel you deserve to have. And the only shit that you think you deserve to have is nothing. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be funny at all. But when you tie to a religious text and when you tie to a religious culture, you have to get to a space where you're looking at that religion from the perspective of, if I acquire anything new, then I am now going to get consumed. I'm now going to lose myself into it or shit like that. Why are you programmed for that? There's always something you have to give up in order to give something. There's always something you have to repel in order to attract. It's simple. It's simple. But when there's a specific doctrine in place to make sure you stay at a vibration that you correspond with a space that you don't get out of poverty. You feel me? You're not gonna generate any forms of wealth. And I'm using wealth because this is what we use the law of attraction for: abundance in relationships. That's it. Wealth in relationships. That's all we use it for. You feel me? The law of attraction. Women want a good man. They want this, that, and the third, but you don't even think a good man exists. Vibrationally, you don't think a good man exists. Vibrationally, fuck what you want. Vibrationally and correspondingly, you will not attract. You're going to repel it every time. Because you don't want a good man. You want the standard of a man that they told you is perfect for you, that they told you is what you're supposed to have, and you want to attract that. That don't exist for you. Because that's not who you are. That man is not aligned with who you really are. Same with my brothers. That's why I use the example of these hoes and shit. Like, niggas, oh, I want a freak in the sheets, but she can't have a body count. You gotta shut the fuck up, nigga. Like, you gotta shut the fuck up. You're not gonna get a woman who's a freak and she doesn't have a body count. You feel me? Well, I mean, she could have at least one body. Yeah, she's fucked one dude. Whoop-a-dee-doo. Like, y'all are the ones that have been programmed to believe that sex is so bad and so taboo and shit like that. How the fuck is the life-creating force? How is sexual energy and actually having sex so bad? Because the religion wants you to make it bad. Because I understand that when you actually understand this energy and you stop feeling guilty of it, now you can transmute it into other positive things. Because you now, rather than running from it because it's sex, you run into it because it's sex, not just from the sex aspect, from the physical aspect, but you understand that it's creative energy. Now you know I can use my creative energy for other things. You feel me? I can write books, I can art, I can draw, I can paint, I can do all of this. Like, this is what I don't get. When people say I'm not creative, but they stay horny. Do you not see the correlation? No, you don't see the correlation because you don't know that there's a correlation. Because despite what you want to attract, you don't want to repel shit. You don't want to repel shit. And this is one of the things that I've learned comes from, being in a religious space. Being overly religious. Like, everybody wants to attract. And this is why, it becomes a sin of gluttony and greed. The reason why gluttony and greed are sins is because, nigga, it violates the law of attraction. Because you're supposed to repel some shit. Niggas got all of this shit and don't want to give shit up. They acquire so much and don't want to give anything up. This is not to say equally be a minimalist, because that's the other side of it. Because now you're just flipping it. Oh, I'm a minimalist. All I need is the bare minimum and shit. I keep thinking that. Now, because you're a minimalist, you're going to repel abundance. Sounds good, but you got to eat with what comes with that. Because the law of attraction says, look, we don't give a fuck if it's up, down, left, right, blue, purple, green. You vibrate on the frequency, you hit the correspondence, and we're going to bring it into your life. You know why? Because you're going to bring it into your life based off those two things. And if you want to keep it, you got to repel. If you want to get it, you have to give. You feel me? And you don't just, it's like, people be thinking, okay, I give people say I'd give my 10% to church every single day, or however they do, or they give their 10% to church, but I'm still not receiving blessings because you're not giving what's supposed to be given to receive the attraction. You see what I'm saying? In order for you to get something, you have to repel what's keeping it from keeping you from having it. You feel me? I've learned that there's been relationships that I was involving myself with that would have fucked up my entire business model. And I'm like, yo, why couldn't we work? You weren't supposed to. You were supposed to be repelling that person, not attracting them. But I was attracted to her. No, you thought she was cute. You were never attracted to that person. You didn't know because you didn't pay attention to the law of the universe. You feel me? Dudes be like, yo, she my headache. What? No, ain't no love there. Like, you're not supposed to be my headache. I'm supposed to be repelling things that make me my headache. So why are you in my space? Because I'm so programmed and wired in this mentality to always focus on things that are detrimental to me. always focus on things that are bad to me, and then somehow constantly be in a space where I absolve and I vindicate myself by surviving detrimental shit so much. That's fucked up. You know how many of us are wired to that calibration? But you know how many of us have to realize that we got to repel that in order to attract the vibration that ain't that? You see what I'm saying? Shit different. But I'm going to go ahead and end this shit here because this is long as fuck and it wasn't intended to go this long. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And our kids, trust me, they understand the law of vibration, the law of attraction well, and they manipulate it to their favor. They manipulate it to their favor until they get to a point where kids never get, wow. The law of vibration, the law of attraction begins to be manipulated when a child can't say no. I am now unable to repel what I'm not attracted to. And as the parent, as the authority figure, whatever the case may be, when I tell you no, I get guilted into the shit. Like something's wrong with me. No, there's a law of universe at play right now that says in order for me to have my attraction, I have to repel and I have to get rid of my repulsions. And when I tell you no, because this does not work with me, I get in trouble. So now you wonder why people just keep saying yes to everything, why you have yes people, and why yes people suffer so much, because I couldn't say no for so long, which means that if I couldn't say no and I could only say yes, or I have to justify, I was not able to repel shit. Which means that now everything that I attract, I now have to keep according to how I'm already vibrationally wired and how already my correspondence is already set up. Niggas have attracted lives that they really don't want to live. But they can't repel it because of a motherfucker that won't let them say no. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. And then even deeper than that, the actual attraction and the vibration that they were supposed to be on, they were told no, that they couldn't do it. Dreams kill. That's crazy, right? But imagine our babies and shit, if we listen to them when they say no and don't get that feeling of, don't let that tyranny kick in and don't you tell me no. No, man, don't you make me go against the law of the universe, homie. Like, the fuck? Don't you make me go against the law of the universe. Like, yo, I'm telling you, like, I have to repel this. Because if I attract it, now I start to go against myself, my true self, and you don't even know who I am. You told me no. Now I'm going to beat you. Now I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to do that. And now you wonder why your kids got a broken spirit. Now you wonder why your kids can't make a solid decision for themselves. You never gave them the opportunity to understand the 12 laws of the universe, specifically the law of attraction. So now all they can attract is what you're now using them as the vessel and conduit to make sure that you can get what you want to attract. And you remove your hand from, like, think about what kind of deities you serve if that's the case. Like, because you treat your babies the way you think a deity treats you and you don't even know it. If I'm not doing certain this, that, and third, you going to remove your hand. I get punished because I wasn't listening to God. I wasn't doing it. No, you was making fucked up decisions because you wouldn't repel what you were supposed to be attracting. Didn't even realize you was on a vibration to fuck up your life. You was on a vibration to make detrimental decisions, which now translated to what you were going to attract and what you refused to repel. Motherfuckers be like, yo, you just can't have good shit in your life because you are now vibrationally aligned with detrimental shit. So you're going to attract detrimental shit and you're going to repel beneficial shit without even knowing it. We got to stop that with our babies, yo. But I'm going to go ahead and end there because, like I said, this shit long as fuck. Thank y'all for listening. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables, and I'm going to see y'all all on the next one. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.